Hello everyone, I'm Varsha and you are watching the series of success stories brought to you by Indian Achievers Forum. As you all know, the series is all about the prominent achievers of the country who has made India proud in some way or the other. The main focus of our series is to make you all know about the achievements and experiences of our prominent guests. So in the same sequence today, we have with us Dr. Kuiljeit Uppaal, who is the image scientist and impact strategist and CEO of Kriya. But before we actually move ahead in the conversation, I would like you to have a look at a very small video which will tell you about what we actually do.
Indian Achievers Forum is driven by a full-fledged advisory board. The board consists of experienced personalities who have excelled in their respective careers. Together, the forum organizes conferences, events, workshops, exhibitions, trade shows and B2B initiatives in India as well as abroad. Where there is passion, there is achievement. And where there is achievement, there is Indian Achievers Forum.
Hello, Dr. Kuiljeit. How are you?
Hi, Varsha. I'm very well. Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We are privileged. Okay, so the very first thing I would like you to do is please tell us something about you and your profession.
Okay, so when it comes to me, I think I'm just a simple, ordinary person who is very curious by nature, has always been curious, in fact, and an avid learner. And I think that curiosity bug that I've had for years together has made me traverse various industries, has made me explore a lot of things, so much so that I've explored aviation as a flyer. I moved into advertising. I was doing heavy duty creative work and making films, moved into media, moved into IT, and then eventually, of course, into education, where I've been part of the creation process of several hundred books, educational books, and of course, research. So I think if I have to define myself, it's pretty much this person who's extremely curious and always, always wanting to learn. As far as my professional journey is concerned, like I said, I've traversed a few industries. So it's been about 3 decades now, and it's a whole circle. It's just made me a very complete person in one way because I've seen perspectives in various ways, and it's broadened my horizons. So today, as an image scientist and as an impact strategist, as you just said, I'm able to look at things and look at people in a different dimension, and I'm happy that my journey has been the way it has.
Okay, lovely, ma'am. So tell us a bit more about your research journey and also about your inventions.
Okay, so like I said, I've done this, work for about 3 decades or so. And despite the fact that I had traversed so many industries, I realized there's this common denominator. And this common denominator went through the industries, and this was about people, wherein I realized that there was this lack of, impact that people were able to make. They lacked in presentation, they lacked in communication skills, they lacked in self-esteem, in self-confidence and competence very often. So there were a lot of things that I was realizing that why is it happening? And it's not only to do with freshers. It also had to do with people who were like maybe 6 to 8 years of work experience. They also had the similar thing that was going on in them. And I just said, okay, this is beginning to bother me a little more than I think I would like it to be. And that's what actually nudged me into research, because I wanted to figure out what is it that is keeping them from being able to make that impact that they would ideally want to make. And like I've always believed, true to I think the learning that I've always been in, that any piece of knowledge or knowledge dissemination for that matter should be with content that is scientifically driven, that is empirically tested. And that's why I didn't want to go with, just checking out something on Google and going with a copy paste. Each one to their own, but I didn't subscribe to that thought. So I said, let me just research it on my own. And I pursued my PhD. And as luck would have it, I realized that there was no seminal work in the area at all. There was very little that I could find. And I never knew that I would be the first PhD holder because of that, in this area and define a whole new science altogether. So in the bargain, I went into diving deep into psychology, sociology, anthropology, semiotics, design, aesthetics, communication, mathematics, stats, and whatnot, and came up with models, came up with certain structures that actually answered the questions I was looking at. And so today we have something that is the science of persona and image management, and that's exactly what I keep now dealing with. With regard to my invention, which is the world's first ever PIQ, which is the persona and image quotient, it is an enabler of sorts. It helps you to assess your persona and image quotient. I have researched, and of course, it's very statistically determined and validated and all of that. But it helps you to take that test. You take that test. It's an assessment, like I said. And by the end of the test, you get your report, and you understand on the various micro parameters of image where you stand. And it's a great way to understand your journey further, because you know which things are probably not the best and you need to work on them. So this is my gift to the world in one way, because I believe that everyone sitting anywhere in any hemisphere would definitely want to improve on their image.
Amazing work you are doing, ma'am, I must say. So now put some light on the products and services which you offer.
Okay, so largely speaking, of course, everything to do with Kriya, which is my company, deals with all the work around human capital and the growth of human capital, training them and building them up as people, as professionals. So there's a lot of corporate skills that we are into. We a lot into personality development, of course, customer service, and there's also consultation that I do, because it's a training and consultancy firm. So there's a lot of consultation that happens on PRIM, which is persona and image management, on psychometrics, on NLP, a lot of areas that we explore, and of course on life skills, which fortunately is the order of the day today. And so this is largely what we deal with, everything to do with human beings. So where there's an individual, there is where we figure out, really. We help people develop themselves.
Okay. So, Dr. Kuiljeit, a lot of emphasis has been given by our Honorable Prime Minister too on this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So, tell us a bit about your contribution towards it.
Okay, in fact, I completely honor and respect that thought behind Atmanirbhar Bharat, which has been brought out by our Honorable Prime Minister. For me, the words Sashakt and Atmanirbhar Bharat are very close to my heart, and I say that only because that in terms of it does with what I do, it's like hand in glove completely. Now, if we have to look at Atmanirbhar Bharat, we're talking of a self-reliant India. Now, India is not just India as on a map, right? We're talking of people. We're talking the citizens of India. So what I do is focus on the citizens of India, because I'm helping them to become self-reliant. I'm helping them to discover themselves as warriors from within. And that's what my work is all about, wherein I build a sense of self-esteem, a sense of self-confidence and competence, and build them up in their journey towards being self-reliant. So in that way, my contribution towards Atmanirbhar Bharat is right at the grassroots level, which is like almost the starting point of the journey forward, where all these entrepreneurs, because I work a lot with entrepreneurs as such also, I am part of their incubation cells, and I help them to cultivate themselves as people who can actually cultivate such kind of life skills, such kind of confidence and resilience, that they have a long journey ahead and they're able to deal and cope better with challenges. So my contribution to Atmanirbhar Bharat is more to do with the angle of actually empowering every single youth, every single individual, man or woman, who belongs to our country, and empower them to keep daring to dream and keep that journey going towards the larger contribution towards the country.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so now comes one of my favorite question, and that is, what are your feelings on winning this Indian Achievers Award?
Okay, so let me tell you, of course, when I realized I was being awarded this, it was extremely humbling. Getting a Shiksha Bharti Award. I have been into the world of education for a long time now, as I already shared. So getting it from a platform like IIT was very, very prestigious, and I was very humbled, I have to say that. But if you look at my personal perspective to awards, I revel in the glory of that award for that one day that I've achieved the award. And I take it as a big pat on my back. So I'm like, I pat myself and I'm like, okay, you're probably on the right track. So it just empowers me, and I start with a renewed energy in a new dimension altogether again. That award very honorably is placed to one side, and the next day is a fresh journey with more impetus, with more drive and more thrust to achieve even more and to do more and more contribution in my own way for my country. But yes, I am extremely humbled with this award. Thank you so much.
Okay, so you're truly an achiever, I must say, Dr. Kuiljeit. Okay, so moving ahead in the series, since you work a lot with youth and women, tell us a bit about your social contribution.
The reason I moved out of employee status into entrepreneurship status was precisely about contribution, selfless contribution. And I think I'm more of a social entrepreneur if I have to define myself. However, while I have been earning money from corporates because they definitely have the money to pay, but my mission has been to be able to get that kind of money, put it into the pipeline for work for the underprivileged. And especially when I say underprivileged, I mean the youth or women who don't have enough resources to be able to empower themselves. So I do a lot of work as All India Chairperson for Image Management. We've got chapters across the country, and so I have women across who have been trained by me and who are trying to empower women within communities now in various cities across India. So that's one part. Another thing that I'm doing as Wiki National President for Life Skills is that we're in this whole mission of trying to, scientifically create models, create structures, create even a policy as we move along that we can suggest to the government of India to employ for working women, so that we can find the coping mechanisms for all these, largely defined psychosocial skills that we talk of as WHO has defined. So we're trying to work largely in that area, especially for the working women across sectors, across profiles, rural, urban, whatever be it. So that's a lot of work that goes in. And personally speaking, I'm very passionate about making a difference to the youth because of this little thing that I had read. I'm sure we're all aware of FICCI's 2013 meeting where they said that by the year 2030, India will be one of the youngest populations in the world, and 1 of 4 every graduates in the world will be a product of the Indian higher education system. And I just said, oh, I need to be part of this. I really need to be able to empower every young person, the young crop of our country, so that they can dare to dream. And so I personally engage a lot with universities across India. And I like to go and do seminars with them. I talk to the children there. I talk to the youth. I talk to people from higher education, all profiles, right from graduation, post-graduation, up to PhD. I've been doing a lot of stuff also with faculty because I believe they are the ones who are going to lead and walk the talk when it comes to students. So there's a lot of focus on youth because I believe they are our future, and a lot with women because I've always believed when you educate women, you take them to the right direction. You're not just empowering her, you're empowering an entire generation, as is commonly known. So my whole mission is right now to just keep making a difference to any person as I move along, especially the youth and women who don't have enough opportunities. So yes, there is that kind of contribution I'm doing. And of course, I spend a lot of time with street children and the poor and the underprivileged in my free time. I like to go and teach them, values at least in terms of self-respect. So I tell them stories about Gandhiji and freedom fighters and Shivaji and try and get them off the begging trip. So that's been something that I've also been very, sensitized with. I don't like to see children begging. So I try and do the little that I can in terms of whenever I can. That's what I do in terms of social contribution.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing. So, Dr. Kuiljeit, before winding up our lovely session, what message would you like to give today's generation who want to be an entrepreneur someday?
Okay, so I believe, and I can talk out of my own experience, I believe that when you want to do something, you must create a kind of a framework in your mind, a framework that kind of takes you towards growth and success and happiness. So I think I'll just say a few things within that framework. What worked for me, it may work for the people who are watching. Firstly is belief in yourself and your uniqueness in terms of, you having the core strengths for success and happiness. Most of us don't seem to believe that in the first place. So I think as an entrepreneur, it's very important to believe in yourself. Also, there should be a passion and a hunger to continually learn and grow and evolve. Because the moment you start saying, okay, I know it all, your journey pretty much stops there. I think today, whatever success I've achieved is also because I've constantly believed that you learn from people constantly around you from their experiences. As an entrepreneur, it's a great thing to have. And of course, hone up your skills, because that is definitely going to take you a long way. Your knowledge is going to be your power. So it's extremely important to ensure that you do that. And bridge gaps if you can in terms of your personality, personally and professionally, and try and treat people well. I think it's very important. Be a contributor. So, whatever you want to get into as an entrepreneur, I think have a social dimension if you can, so that you can actually enjoy the journey more, because it's not only about your smile, it's about creating a smile in so many other people's on their faces, and making their journeys also be part of yours. It just becomes very, very truly beautiful. So that is one. But I think, largely speaking, in all of this journey, stay humble, stay grounded. I think it's a very, very important trait to have. And regardless of failure or success, just continue your journey. Be resilient enough. Don't take it too hard on yourself, because these things will always happen. So that's pretty much what I would say echoes with my mind in terms of an entrepreneur and what his journey should be.
And that's an amazing advice for all of us. Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Kuiljeit, for being with us today and sharing such lovely thoughts of yours with us. And I wish you all the very best for all your future endeavors too, and may you continue to rise and shine. Thank you so very much for being with us.
Thank you so much. I'm
Thank
truly
you.
honored one more time. Thank you for such kind words, and God bless you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.